Everybody, welcome to Let's Talk. I apologize in advance because this video is going to be a bit long because today we are going to talk about the topic that made me start this video series. We are going to talk about Israel and Palestine. So I'm trying to condense a 1,000-year history into a small portion as much as I can. So please bear with me here and let's go. Okay. So let's go back to the late 1800s. Due to extreme persecution, Jews all around the globe wanted a state of their own. And at this time, this movement was known as Zionism. So they all decided to move towards or go to a place where they could start a state of their own. They chose Palestine. Palestine was considered very holy for the Jews. During this time, Palestine wasn't divided into Israel and Palestine as we see now. It was unified and it was under the Ottoman Empire. And fast forward to 1918. The British, French and the Arab forces were fighting against Palestine and Palestine was losing. And the British promised the Jews around the world that they would give them space in Palestine to build a state of their own. The Jews were overjoyed. The people, the natives of Palestine were also told that they would be given a state of their own in Palestine. And in the end, the British ended up occupying Palestine when they defeated the Ottoman Empire. So, as Hitler's power increased and the genocide started happening, all the Jews started moving towards Palestine because they were given a promise. So, increasing nationalist emotions of both the Palestinians and the Jews led the British to move away from the Ottoman Empire and give the responsibility of dividing the state between Jews and the Palestinians to the UN. So, what happens is the land is divided among the Palestinians and the Jews, with 55% going to the Jews and the rest going to the Palestinians. And the Jews are happy, the Palestinians are happy, everybody happy, right? No. The surrounding Arab nations declare war on the new nation of Israel formed by the Jews, saying that this is a tactic by the British to keep their colonization intact. So, in 1949, the first Arab-Israeli war happens. And because the Jews want to survive and keep their race intact, Israel wins against all the Arab nations. And the area of Gaza and West Bank are occupied by the Arab nations. So later, in 1967, the second Arab-Israeli war happens, which Israel wins easily because it has now gained more military power, which leads to them annexing the West Bank and the Gaza Strip region, and also the part of the Egypt Peninsula. So, now the Palestinians, the native Palestinians, who have lost their homes because the Israeli regime has become so powerful, want a state of their own, and they form the PLO, or the Palestinian Liberation Organization, which believe that armed struggle would give them a Palestinian state. And so, US and Israel deem them as illegal or terrorist organizations. But later, the UN General Assembly recognizes them as a representative of the Palestinians, and they change their form to a non-militant organization. So, over the passage of time, the Israeli people have permanently occupied the areas of West Bank and Gaza that were supposed to be part of the Palestinian state. So, the international community deems these settlements as illegal, as these are against the UN plan. And the people of Palestine do not have anywhere to stay. They only have strips of land within their own country to stay. Things start looking up in 1992 when Israel elects President Rabin, who makes some steps in the right path by recognizing the PLO and putting forward the idea that the Palestinian people deserve their own land and the Israeli people ought to give it back to them. But as always, this doesn't last very long. Even though the Palestinians recognize Israel and vice versa happens, both the extremist organizations, the Israeli extremists who believe that Palestinians shouldn't be given land, and the Palestinians who believe that PLO are becoming too secular, form their own organizations. The Israeli assassinate their own president, while the extremist Palestinians form the Hamas organization, which is a militant organization that believe Israel should be eradicated from the map so that the Palestinian nation can be formed. The Hamas organization, which is the extremist Palestinian organization, during the 1996 elections, Israeli elections, not only boycotted the elections but also sent suicide bombers, which led to the first form of violence in the Israel Palestine crisis, which leads to the extreme polarization of both the populations. This leads to increase in violence, leading to violent protests in 2002, and the complete elevation leading to the fight for Gaza in 2007. I hope all of you understood some information from whatever I was saying. So, people who are confused as to whom to side with, I have only one thing to say: educate yourself and side with humanity. Thank you.